Hello and welcome to Using Old Source Code episode 11, third time's a charm I hope. On the screen I have the install directory for the latest version of CodeBlocks, MinGW version. As I said in the last video, I'm no longer installing MinGW into CodeBlocks, it does not work. I have updated AllCode. I have removed the Windows SDK files from the lib and include directories. So these are just OpenGL now. And then these DLLs are the OpenGL DLLs. And then I took this one out of my Windows System 32, this GDI 32, because I've been getting an error. And the error said that it could not find GLUT32 in my system, which was a lie because it existed. But on a lark, I thought, what would happen if I went to my include directory, I got a GL thing here, and I added all my GL files here. So those you'll find right here in your include directory, and they're all down in here. So I copied them over. And the stuff that I have in here is newer than what they had here. Some of this from what they had here in the original install was actually what I used to replace originally. But a lot of it was newer from my Visual Studio install. So I did that, and then I took these dills, because that still didn't work. It still didn't find the files. So I took the dills and I stuck them over here in bin. And now you can see that the dills are over here. GDI and GLUT and OpenGL are all now in here in bin. And I made sure that the code box was closed when I did it. And so I started it up. Because the first time I cast this video, I was getting it to run without having anything put here. This is the global compiler settings. And over here in linker I had nothing. You remember we had a list here before. In search directories I have nothing. So this is the way I'm recommending you set up for now. That you copy the files in the locations that I just said, and you leave this blank. And then another place that you can put stuff is if you right click on a project title and go to build options, you have it here as well. And you'll see that this is blank. And a note here, if you get errors that seem to lean toward you need to have multibyte or Unicode, I don't know what the option is here in CodeBlocks to get that going, but you can type in multibyte or Unicode here in this define, and do that per project that you want that, and it'll change that for you. And that's a tip that I found at the Stack Overflow forums. So that's where that credit goes. I don't have the specific link available. Anyhow, since copying that in, I'm on release. It runs. I haven't tried debug. Last time I tried debug, it didn't work. Okay, so debug crashes. I don't know why debug crashes and the release runs. I cannot tell you. I do not know. But this is from OpenGL Game Programming, the 2001 version, with David Astle. So this was one of my targets. My other target right now, and I want to test it right now with you since I've done this. I haven't tested it since I did this. With this particular, just that one that you saw. So now here's Freakout. I got release. Now Freakout was different. Freakout would work in debug but not in release. Okay. Now I'm seeing a purple background and a bunch of multicolored squares with a blue square on the bottom. You may not be seeing that. You might be seeing a kind of a little tiny black box. Mine's full screen. You're probably seeing a little tiny black box with little white lines and a white dot. But trust me, it's working. And if I go to debug, it's working. So this, without having to add any of that extra directory stuff, this fixes the problem for CodeBlocks. All I had to do is give it the DLL files and the extra GL libraries. And my guess is if you really wanted to, you could copy over all of the, and in fact, I'm actually going to do that right now. I'm going to go ahead and just jump right into this and just do it, and heck with the consequences. So I'm going to go here to include. Now we got a problem when we get to library, and I'll explain that in a minute. So I'm going to go to include. I'm going to go to control all, but then I'm going to deselect the ones well, I guess it doesn't really matter. I've already copied them over anyway. Just going to copy these over here. You can do this or not, your choice. Going to compare. I'm just going to copy and replace because I think these are all updated. I spent a lot of time working on them and updating them, so the files that I have are newer and better, I think. Now I have to reboot, turn off the thing for code blocks again, but here's your problem. When you get to library, because it's MinGW, apparently this is something else I write Stack Overflow, they want .a's, and it prefixes with lib. So you can't copy your library files over here. That's just not going to happen. Or at least I don't know how you would. So I'm going to turn these off. I'm going to turn this off. And we're going to start this up again, see if it crashes or works. And we're going to open up our project that uses Direct3D, which is right here. And we're going to see what happens. And it's working in debug, and I don't know what you're seeing on your screen, if it's different, but it's working. And working in said that wrong. Working in release. So we're good. And let's see if our other project is working. Alright. Release works, and debug probably will not. But at least now I know as I type in the code for these older DirectX stuff, maybe everything will work better. You don't need to do what I just did. You can link to it, you can leave it blank, you can do whatever. I am from now on advising that you leave it blank. That you don't add anything here under the compiler global settings. You don't add anything under these except what you need, like if you have to have it defined. That's going to be my advice for right now, and I'm just going to advise that you copy the files, the .h files over, and the DLL files go into the bin directory. And we'll see how that works. We're going to assume for now that that's going to work. My next two projects are going to be trying the 3D game programming with DirectX by Frank Luna. I've been having trouble getting that working. And creating a multiplayer first-person shooter with Direct3D or DirectX or something. DirectX, I think it is, by William Vaughn, I want to say. Those are the two next books that I've been having trouble getting the code to run. So this is how we're going to be set up now. Yeah, this is an error in glut.h. I wonder what that means. That's weird. But this is how we're going to have it set up for now, and that should allow those two things to work and run for you. Oh, okay, it clicks off, but I just click on it. And I guess that concludes this video tutorial. If you have any comments, advice, suggestions, there's nothing really out there that covers code blocks. It covers how to set things up, and the idea here with AllCode was to create something that would allow you to pick up any book off the shelf from the last 20 years and get the code to work. As long as the C++ code was done right, even if it used old libraries that are irrelevant or archaic now and that we don't like people have been complaining about Glocks, GLAUX, some kind of routine for loading textures. Even if that stuff is crap, as long as the C++ code is technically correct, it should be able to build and run. That's what I want to do, and I don't want to have to set it per each project. These per project settings here only work for each project. I wanted to that's why I had things set globally the last time I advised. Well, now I'm not doing that anymore. And this is as of the latest version of code blocks with MinGW. This is the MinGW version of code blocks. I do not install MinGW separately. I'm going to repeat that again does not work, so don't do it. And you can download the latest version of AllCode from the support page. There should be a link at the bottom of this video. And if you want help out at all, I could sure use the help, because I'm kind of stumbling through here right now. I have no experience with any of this. I'm just trying to figure out what works. So thank you for watching, and I hope that this helps you out.